Welcome to the Algarve. It's a beautiful place, isn't it? However, beauty isn't always enough. The typical clients that we work with here at Algarve Addicts are from the United States of America, from the United Kingdom, and they're retired, so they're comfortable in a comfortable position. However, relocating and resetting from zero into a completely foreign country is not always easy. It's not always bells and whistles. It's not always trumpets and angels. For some, it's a grand adventure with exciting things going on all the time. For others, it can be quite an overwhelming experience. So the best solution to try and figure out whether relocation is for you or not is to get over here, come and visit us in the Algarve, and then look around and scout with an intention. Don't just come with a holiday. Scout with an intention, as if you think, okay, I'm going to be living here. You can come on one of our tours if you like, or if you're really in a position to buy a house, you can go straight directly to our real estate agent, Nick Smith, and start seeing some houses. But it's generally a very good idea to try and understand exactly where you want to live beforehand, because looking for a house on that side of the Algarve and then going to that side of the Algarve is just draining for us and draining for you as well. However, before you come, you might have a million questions. And that's okay, because it's a massive, big, new thing that you're undertaking. And all these questions we're going to lay out now into different categories, and then you can hopefully try and get some answers. But I think the most important thing is to get an overview, come over here and see what's happening and put everything together like a jigsaw puzzle. And then afterwards you go back home, and then you can find out the exact details, because it's not always, you'll see what I mean. We've created a free PDF which you can download, and I'm just going to go through this PDF now because it's got some really important information. So go ahead, download it, and you can keep it forever. It's free. All you have to do is give us your email address, and then we'll keep in touch with you on a fairly regular basis, but you can unsubscribe at any time. So the first item in the PDF is basically visas and immigration. Now, depending on your current nationality, you'll have three different options open to you. The first thing to understand are the three basics. So a visa is an application for a temporary entrance to Portugal. It's generally 3 months or more. And sometimes you get a visa waiver, which you don't even need that from certain countries. Then the second thing is residency. You'll be awarded a more permanent solution, either temporary residency or permanent residency. And then after 5 years, you will be able to apply for citizenship. So that's the basics of it. There are many, many different ways to get a visa, and we can go through that in greater detail if you're interested. The second thing is financial planning. Now, transferring your tax domicile to another country is a big step. If you want to live, work, and get all the benefits of Portugal, you'll need to consider this. Again, this depends massively on where you're currently paying your taxes, and this whole operation is hugely personalized. Now, we have access to a financial advisor, and she can tell you exactly what the best options are and how best to invest in Portugal to take advantage of all the tax breaks and to obviously make sure that you avoid any pitfalls and you get the optimum tax advantage. The third point is scouting. Now, scouting is imperative. It's really, really important on your journey to Portugal. So it's very important to know whether Portugal will be a good fit for you. The last thing you want to do is go through all the expense, effort, and stress of moving your entire life to Portugal and then finding out that you don't really fit in. So we actually offer scouting excursions for a full day, either the west, or the central, or the eastern Algarve. So you can book one or all three tours and really get to know the area, and it's definitely worthwhile. You can do it on your own, but it's obviously much easier and much more beneficial if you're doing it with a local who's actually been living here for a long time and knows Portuguese and the Portuguese people. So obviously, where to live in the Algarve is the fourth point, and this is going to be covered by your scouting tours. Obviously, you're scouting for where to live in the Algarve, but it's very important for you to try and think about this in the correct way. So think about what your constraints are. Do you need to be 30 minutes away from a hospital? Would you like to have a thriving expat community nearby, or would you prefer to attempt to integrate into the Portuguese-speaking community? And likewise, is the beach a consideration? Do you need to be close? You want to be further away? Because obviously there's a lot of tourism down on the beach. So all of these factors can determine the best town for you. Now, once you've found your spot, Are you going to rent or are you going to buy? Now, first things people would think, oh, well, obviously I'm going to rent because I'm not sure if I'm going to like this place. But renting, while it does seem like an obvious solution when you don't know the place super well, there are some certain downsides, and there's a massive lack of options and distinct focus on buying here in the Algarve and in Portugal generally. So we can help you find a long-term rental if you need one. But you won't be able to end up with a dream house because there's not millions of opportunities available. That's what I'm trying to say here. Number 6, when you're buying a house, we've set up our very own real estate agency with our in-house real estate guru, Nick Smith, and he's been doing real estate for years. So this may not be very similar to the sequence of events in your home country, so we can walk you through that exact process. And we also offer all the ancillary services like mortgage application if necessary, because you can get a mortgage here if you're a foreigner. Household, medical and other insurances, and money transfers at way better rates than your bank, even if you've been with your bank for a very, very long time. Number 7, healthcare. Now, Portugal offers excellent healthcare, but what is the best option for you? And you can discover the difference between private and public care in the video that we've made specifically all about the subject. Actually, each one of these points, we have a video all about the subject, and we're going to put it into a video series in our video course. But healthcare, if you're going private, the biggest decision will be which insurance provider to use. We have a broker that we work with, and he can help make this decision with you because they're not actually financially tied into each medical insurer. If schooling is of a concern to you, or if you've got school-going kids and you're moving with them, that's great. And again, you've got to make the same decision between a government school or a private international school. So the nice pro about the Portuguese government schools is that your kid will be really well integrated. They'll be able to speak fluent Portuguese, and they'll know exactly how the country operates. Whereas if you're going to an international school, you'll be a little bit withdrawn from that, and people will, generally they won't learn to speak Portuguese. Driving in Portugal, we drive on the right-hand side, as with anywhere else in Europe. We can help you understand the differences in driving here and how to get your Portuguese license, which is vital. You have to get it after 6 months of being here, and whether you should or should not bring your car with you. And this is a big decision. It's an expensive decision. Number 10, shopping in the Algarve has changed radically over the past 20 years, with large shopping malls changing the landscape rapidly. There are now at least 7 major shopping malls, which is super convenient, but there are also delightful other areas to shop in certain areas of certain towns. If you want to work in the Algarve, sadly employment opportunities in the Algarve are pretty limited to the retail, tourism and real estate / construction industries, but there's definitely scope for small innovative businesses here. And if you are retired and you don't have any work to do, there's definitely something to be said for trying to get involved with giving back to the community and joining charities and things like that, and like the Rotary and others. There's many, many different pet rescue places and soup kitchens and stuff which help the local community. So that's also a very, very important thing to get back into, and it'll help make you feel great, and it'll keep you busy. You can also try and give back to local entrepreneurs who are looking to set up their own businesses. So there's lots of things to do here in the Algarve. But what to do from a leisure point of view, there is so much, right? You can go, obviously, because it's a tourism zone, there's lots of tours available. You can go on tours for boating, biking, buggies, and off-road tours. Some of the more popular ones, you can go and relax in an afternoon on a wine farm. Sports are all over the place. You can play golf on one of the almost 40 golf courses. There's great tennis facilities and paddle tennis facilities now, which is very similar to pickleball. And obviously unlimited water sports, because the Algarve is very, very ocean focused, and there are so many great routes around for hiking and biking. So there is tons and tons of stuff to do, and I haven't even talked about eating and drinking, and the myriad of festivals every single year. They've even got a festival of chorizo just north of Lulay and Corenza every year, which is great fun. Chorizo and red wine, 10 a.m. in the morning, you can't beat it. Okay, what about the nuts and bolts? NIFs. A NIF is a number that you need to have. It's kind of like your social security number, but it's actually your identification number and your fiscal number. And bank accounts are important to set up as well. So we can help that. If you're getting a visa with us, that'll all be bundled into the package as well. So the last point is the timings of each of these things are quite tricky sometimes because they're all reliant on each other. And having a project plan that you can move around and assort as you go through this whole process is vital, really is important. So I just want to wish you good luck on your relocation if you are doing that. Let us know how you get on. And if you need our help, you can jump in. We really are here to help. So I'm sitting here in IKEA because we've adopted this as our temporary workstation. And Nick Smith heads up our team that makes it happen, that makes the relocation happen for everybody else. So this whole video is about how to relocate. We're going to ask Nick a few questions just about what are some of the pain points that people experience when they are relocating to Portugal. Okay, Nick.
Hi.
How's it?
I'm good, man. You?
Good. What are the biggest pain points that people seem to come up with, or one or two of the pain points?
Well, I think there are a few, but I mean the first one to focus on is accommodation. All the visa is linked to accommodation. You basically, to do anything with a visa, you need to have accommodation here, whether that's a property you've purchased, whether that's a leased property, 12 months minimum, or you can do something called a term of responsibility. So those are the three sort of main criterias, that you need to be able to get here. And in that process, we kind of plug in here to help out on kind of all three, really. Firstly, buying. Obviously there's the big challenges everybody has, and actually it kind of straddles both rental and purchasing, is knowing where to go. Like, if you don't know the country that intimately already, you haven't had the chance, the financial capability to spend a lot of time here, that is a big challenge. So what we can do to help is obviously be on the grounds, give you our desktop feedback. Hopefully we can get you in and take you around. But that is this big challenge, because on that date, where you have your VFS appointment, you need something tangible to put down. So really, our advice is try and spend as much time on the ground as you can, or spend as much time with us as you can, to try and mitigate, taking any risks. Now, whether that's us helping you go and get a lease, we go and check it out on the ground. We can see if it's next to a gypsy encampment, or it's next to a sewage works or something that a selling agent's not going to tell you. Whether that from a buying perspective, if we can cover off 6 or 7, maybe 15 options, whatever it may be, before you get here, to facilitate your flight to come and make it nice and easy. We can do kind of anything, really, but we're trying to narrow, with our service, we're trying to narrow down any risk, mitigate the risks really for someone taking that leap, because a 12-month lease is a big commitment, and so is buying a house straight up. On the plus side, the market is liquid here, so as long as you buy smart, as I say to people, and you're buying something that isn't a small ruin in the hills that might not be everybody's cup of tea, but you're making maybe a bit of a sort of compensation on what you want, to make sure you're buying smart, that you think we think it's something that you can flip quickly. If after a year you decide, well, actually I don't want to be by the beach anymore, I want to be in the hills, life changes once you're here. So don't beat yourself up about making 100% the best decision at the beginning, because life will change. So yeah, one of the biggest pain points that coming to Portugal is him. No, I'm joking. It's about the timing and money cost lost in finding a lease or buying a property. Leasing can be a bit of a nightmare to tie in with your key dates for getting your immigration, for getting your visa in. So really, it's worth speaking to us as quickly as possible to see how we can help, really solve that and mitigate that cost loss.
So you don't lose months of rent waiting around for your visa application.
Exactly, because of the slow process, you could lose up to four months, maybe even 6, waiting to get here.
Okay. Brad, do you have any other pain points that people generally come to you with? Because you're our first point of contact right now.
True, yeah. We get a lot of emails asking, things that I understand that people coming to the country, especially when you've never been to Portugal before, do we have fast speed internet? Yes, we do. We have up to, nowadays in some places, we have up to 2 GB speed. Do we have Amazon, yeah, we do. We have Amazon, AliExpress, Temu. Do we get it delivered? Yes. Maybe not as quick in some countries, like maybe US or Dubai or UK, but we still get it in 48 hours to 72 hours deliveries. Some things might take up to a week, but you still get it delivered. Do we have also ACs? Yes, we do. We do not work generally with the central units. We work with independent units for the house, what we call the cassette systems. It's very common, but yes, you find a lot of houses nowadays, especially in the south, with ACs. Our ACs work in 3 ways, basically. They do heating, cooling, and dehumidifier, depending on what you're looking for, depending, of course, on the time of the year. We get questions also like malls are still a thing in Portugal. It's a very cultural thing. So people like to go to the mall. As an example, back in the US, you see malls closing up because it's just, deliveries at home. It's the future, but still here in Portugal, it's still a very cultural thing. People like to go on the mall. We are at the mall at the moment. We are in IKEA. It's attached to a big shopping center. It's called Mars Shopping. A lot of people like to come to the stores. They still like to go inside the stores, feel the product, see the product. Although online shopping is still very big thing here.
Well, I hope that gives you a basic overview of how to relocate to Portugal. And obviously, we're going to do a video on every single one of those points that I've outlined in this video. And in the end here, we're just talking about a few pain points that a lot of people just ask crazy questions, and some are important questions that people need to know. So if you have any interesting questions, just drop them in the comments. We'll try our best to answer them. Otherwise, get in touch with us and we can take you through the whole process. All right. Thanks for watching. I'm going to see you next time. AlgarveAddicts.com. We'll see you next week, but if you need any help relocating to the Algarve, click through to our website, AlgarveAddicts.com. We offer tours, immigration assistance, long-term rentals, and we can buy your house.